Hey guys, welcome to my third YouTube video. Today I'm going to be speaking about dependence, but before I do, you should go check out my friend's brand. I'm wearing their top right now. It's called URUKUNDO. It's really cool. They got like tops, jorts, and then they have like a bunch of more stuff coming out, but you should definitely go check it out. So yeah, that's it. Let's get started. Hey guys, so today I'm going to be speaking about dependence and why I think dependence is okay. Yeah. So the reasoning for me making this video is because in our society right now, independence is so glorified and it's like the ideal way of living. When in reality, like dependence is very healthy, it's very natural, and we weren't created on this earth just to be left alone and do things our way. And I can understand, like, with the way the world is now, everyone is very self. Like, it's like, I want to do this with myself, I want to do that. But it's like, to really just stop and understand that sometimes taking on so many things and doing so many things at once really stops you from living a very normal life, if that makes sense. Like, we're conditioned to ask for help, to depend on people. And so I want to just give you some really cool reasons on why you should start depending on people. The first one is social creatures. We are literally social creatures. Like, we, ever since birth, we've been wired for connection. We've been wired since birth to now to depend. And as kids, our parents grow us up. We learn to be dependent on them. They grow us up to be able to do things on our own eventually. But even then, like, we still require that connection. We still require that dependence on people to navigate through life. No one's ever able to just grow up and just do life by themselves. It's a bit more than that. The next one I said is interdependence, the power of mutual support. And I say that because dependence doesn't mean weakness, it means collaboration. Oof, that is a bar. That is a bar. Yeah, it. Sorry, guys. I swear I'm not childish. So I think a lot of the times it comes down to how we view dependence, because if you view dependence like in a way where it's like weak, or I don't want to do that, like ill, like I want to do it by myself, you need to also ask yourself, like, is that your ego telling you that you need to do it yourself because you believe that you don't need help and you're not humble enough to really ask for help? Or are you just doing it because you think that's how society is and everyone should be independent? And so I think these are deeper questions we need to ask ourselves, because nobody wants to be like extremely dependent to the point where it's unhealthy. Like, you need to have a balance of dependency and independency. And when you have like a more independence, it can also lead back to like how you're growing up. Like, if you were that person who had to be a parent before they were ever a child, that can definitely affect you and how you show up, like, as an adult to those around you. And also just like trauma as well, just trauma with making you grow up faster than you ever were. And with those things like that, like, it's a bit deeper. And so it's something where you need to really ask yourself and just do that inner work. Just do that inner work, and through depending on people, you're able to heal that and just grow through that. The next one is emotional and mental health. Sorry, guys, that's nasty. The next one is emotional and mental health. And we all go through things, like, we all experience pain, we all experience situations where we just don't know what to do. And when we don't know what to do, it's so important to have people around us, like friends, family, co-workers, just anyone you can go to speak to, because when you try to take that toll, that weight on yourself, it feels heavy, it feels like a backpack. I don't know why I said backpack, but it just feels heavy, and you don't want to constantly have that feeling, which is why it's so important to, tell yourself that, hey, it's okay to depend on people, it's okay to speak to people, because we need that. We're not we're not put on this earth to just take everything by ourselves. It's sometimes it feels good to just talk to someone about how you feel, and it's important. It also just it helps you maintain your emotional well-being. And I think also the reason why a lot of us don't ask for help is, I would say, the older generation. Like, they're thinking of, like, don't ask for help, your feelings don't matter. That type of thinking has also affected the younger generation. And so obviously whatever affects one generation is going to affect another one. It's up to you to really recognize that in your generation, or recognize that in your thinking, and then work through that, and just see different ways that you can allow yourself to open up to people and depend on people, because it could also just be deeper than what you think it is. But having people you can go to and speak to, it really builds your resilience as well. And so it's so important to depend on people for that. Don't carry that by yourself. People are there for you. The next one is personal. Sorry, I'm like going like that, and I don't know if you can still see me in the frame, but I hope you can. The next one is personal growth through learning. And I think it's important to depend on, mentors, teachers, friends, just people who you want to be like. You know, I would say for me, like, I have an I have an Instagram page, Instagram gym page that I've recently made. And before I started, like, I texted like my friends and like some pages that like had like a pretty high following. And I was asking like, how did you get to the place that you are now? And I got some really good advice, and it really helps me. And I feel like this is a lot of ands, but talking to people about, just navigating where I'm going to be going through with my page really allowed me to have a success. I hate this word so much. Have a successful page. Like, I feel like even though my page doesn't have that much of a following, like, I'm able to still post content that I believe is able to, like, catch people's eyes. And I'm always asking, like, how can I do better? It also comes with a level of humility, to be able to have that level of humility and just be humble in every situation, and understand that, it doesn't mean that, that you're weak or that you can't do it. It just means that you're learning, and, you're growing through that. And that's what that matters. And it is important to be self sufficient in some situations, but understanding that we can't have complete independence, because that is an unrealistic and an untrue statement. And so, like, being dependent on people doesn't mean that you're weak at all. It doesn't mean that you don't have values, like there's not great things about you. It just means that you're being a humble human being who understands their needs. There's differences between wants and needs, but a lot of the times we go off what we want and know what we need. And so that really stops us from reaching our full potential, because reaching our full potential doesn't just mean our full potential. It means yours, someone else's help, you know? And so really just allowing yourself that help is so important to really grow as people. And sorry, I feel a lot of pressure right now just speaking. But it's just important to understand that, God put us on this earth to depend on people, and as humans it's not natural for us to do everything alone. It's very natural to be more dependent than independent. And just have a balance, reach out, depend, and nothing's wrong with depending on people. And so that's just what I wanted to speak about today, and I hope you enjoyed this video, not that video, this video. And I'll be posting soon. Thank you and enjoy. Bye. To actually speak, to really look, community, and we can grow along. But I'm just saying that